a lot of things that has to do with retirement strategies and tax strategies. We will have a break. Before the break, there will be a Q&A. And then, of course, we have some bonus incentives for those people who would like to have a customized solution or design for your personal program. Then we will be happy to do so. Okay? All right, folks. Who is Ecospan, our financial group? We are actually an independent, nationwide independent marketing organization. We are also a top producer insurance. We have achieved so much in the industry, such as a group, not only individual personal awards, but as a team, we have achieved top personal group awards. Okay? And also, we are also a general agency member of what we call a very big company called Annuity Store. Okay, Ecospan agency affiliates. Our leadership, just about 5 of us, have a combined experience of about 120 years in this industry. A little bit more background about myself. I've been in this industry for 30 years, but by profession, I'm an engineer. Graduated locally from the University of Small Children, USC. So after I graduated from USC, I practiced 10 years as an engineer here. But after working as an employee for the government, in fact, as an engineer, I got sick and tired of being tired and sick, of calling in sick on a Monday and thanking God it's Friday as an employee. But more on a serious note, folks, my profession, I engage myself day to day in the employment workforce, working 10 to 12 hours a day. And my spouse, who hails from the medical field, she's a nurse, she's also working 12 hours a day. So we were blessed after 8 years of marriage with 4 children, but we had to drop them off at 5 o'clock in the morning and pick them up at 7 o'clock at night. I told my wife, this is quite a stressful lifestyle. One of us should be flexible. A friend of mine, who happens to be the brother of our founder, Bell, told me, why don't you do financial services on the side? Maybe that will be your way out so you can have a flexible schedule. I heeded his advice and did this on the side. In 3 months, I was matching my income as an engineer. In 6 months, I was doubling my income as an engineer. So I went full blast here, okay? And it's been a great ride. And fast forward today, I consider myself still as a student. There's a lot of handouts given to you in our workshop today by Elizabeth. But still, there's always, this industry is a dynamic industry. It's not a static industry. Using the terms in engineering, dynamic, or any engineer in the house. We have a gentleman. So, static means it's stagnant. Dynamic is always moving. Thank you very much. Thank you. How about a big round of applause for Winnie for being a support? Okay, so there's a lot of changes. We always go through continuing education, and this class is one of them. What is our mission? To create wealth for life through our strategic wealth building education programs. We're very particular about education, folks. That's what we're going to engage in today. It's education. Our vision is to become the largest regional and national financial services company, which provides free education on how to attain financial freedom and time freedom for a better quality of life. Furthermore, we are committed to help our clients and families build, preserve, and transfer wealth for the future generation. I mentioned earlier we are blessed with 4 children. Actually, all our children are grown up. Our youngest daughter graduated from college last year. So all of them already have their own careers. And what I hear amongst this younger generation, the millennials, so to speak, is the discussion and conversation about financial stress. Do you know that, as you know, obviously, a lot of graduates from college today have a heavy amount of student loans. Mm-hmm. My eldest is in the medical field. Thank God for this industry. It was my wife and I was helped to finance their schooling, and all of my kids have no student loans. Oh. How about a big round of applause for this industry? Yeah, right. Good work. Except the medical professional, my son, he took a second credential from Loma Linda. He's a physical therapist, okay? And he said, son, okay, but he took some student loans, but very minimal. His peers have $200,000, $300,000 of student loans. It's quite unfortunate. And yet, in the financial industry, survey shows that 50% of college students right now are barely making ends meet. More on a serious note, they're just their first jobs are just like almost minimum wage, just to get in the workforce. So there's a major disconnect. So it behooves us, those who are in this industry or licensed professionals, not to be proactive and start sharing concepts so the millennials will not experience a more detrimental way of life, not only financially, but also based on quality of life, because they will be worse than the baby boomer generation today. Okay? And I'll explain that a little bit. So today, folks, we're going to talk about a very main concept and topic that is near and dear to our hearts. It's about designing a program, not for tomorrow, but for today. How to retire wealthy, live abundantly, and leave a legacy for you and your family. Let me ask a question in this room. How many people here already retired? Great. How about a big round of applause for those who... Okay, how many of those who are here who are tired? Any? Okay. So whether you're retired or tired from the lifestyle, we're going to have fun today. We're going to make sure that we show you some concepts. Maybe, Yoli, if you can turn off the lights just on this side, so it will be much clearer. Maybe that will help. Is that better? Okay. No, this one. There you go. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is our topic today. It's about how to retire wealthy and live abundantly and leave a legacy to your family. The first part of the agenda, as you see, is more on concepts. Okay, this is our client informational workshop. When you wanna, if you like our program and you want to be part of the marketing force to share the concepts in the marketplace, then we have an opportunity for you to join us either as a licensed or non-licensed professional called a lead generator. Okay, there will be a Q&A after the presentation, so hold your questions. Please no recording of presentations because first of all, this is proprietary and confidential. No recording and no cameras, no Facebook, right? But guess what? We're going to give you a lot of materials anyway.
Yeah.
This is secret. This is trade secret.
Yes.
Okay? And sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. Now, folks, let's talk about retirement. There is a new reality about retirement today. Times have changed. Retirement used to be synonymous with leisure and travel. Look at this couple. They work almost 40 years in this beautiful land of opportunity, land of the free United States of America. But you know, those days are probably not quite as what we thought it would be. Decades of hard work no longer guarantee a prosperous and successful retirement. The same couple are now more worried about living too long and running out of money than dying too soon. Because of the advances in the field of medicine, life expectancy is much longer today. When we started, right, Beth, when we started in this industry in the 80s, the life expectancy was only in the 60s. Today, it's not unheard of. Your neighbor is already in their 80s and still doing the Roomba, the Zumba, right? And some people are in their 90s. Some people are even, you Google search the number of 100-year-old celebrants right now when people buy birthday cards for 100-year-old. It's increasing dramatically all across the country because of the advances in the field of medicine, and people are more health conscious. People are cutting back from smoking, drinking nutritional drinks, and also like doing ballroom dancing, Roomba and Zumba. But as a consequence of living longer, the question is, the span of time from retirement to living till the end of life, is that a quality life? And one of the reasons is people are worried about whether they will run out of funds to enjoy that quality of life. See, we do a lot of client workshops for free, not only in this office, but also we visit people's homes. Like, for example, medical professionals like nurses. They work 24 hours a day, so what we do is we instead of them coming over here, we go to their place and they invite a few friends because we're engaged in our mission about education. And the thing is this, most people like retirees or about to retire, their question is this: Gil, I have worked 30 to 40 years in this country. I have acquired so much nest egg in my account, my 401k or pension. The very common question is this: how long will my money last? A lot of people have this concept of, if I worked hard and I establish a 401k and have my house paid off, I am good to go. But folks, if you're in that realm or you're in that mode, I'm sorry to say, that's only one half of the picture. Okay? So, anybody here with a heart problem? Because the first part of this session is gonna be scary. You're gonna go through a roller coaster ride this morning. You know, when we go to the seasons of the year, when October hits, what season is that? What is the event? Halloween, right? People get scared. We're gonna scare you first, but don't worry. What happens in November? Thanksgiving, because we will be happy to share with you the solutions to the problem. And then at the end of the year, what is that season? Christmas. It will be a bountiful of blessings upon all of us who knows the strategies. Okay? All right, let's proceed. Retire early and retire wealthy. When a younger generation, a millennial today, asks us, sir or ma'am, Beth or Gil, right? How much do I need for retirement to retire comfortably today? Well, in the financial industry, the most common answer is you need at least $1 million in your nest egg to have a comfortable retirement.
Yep.
Why is this so? If you have $1 million today, there will be financial programs, like Jovi is aware of this, which is what we call income and Wenny knows this. It's an income for life.
Yep.
5%.
50,000 a year.
The company will give you 5% on your nest egg for life. Whether you run out of money, they'll give you 5%. Most people don't know that. You can create your own supplemental social security, and most people are not aware of that. So if you have $1 million, a financial company will give you 5% for life, which is what? What is 5% of $1 million? 50,000 for life, folks.
As long as you live.
That is a very fantastic relationship with a financial company. But what is the reality, folks? This is the reality. The reality is what? There's a company called Employee Benefit Research Institute, and they did an annual retirement survey. And what is the annual retirement survey? That in this country, more than 8 years ago, more than half of workers have a combined savings and investments of $25,000 in their household. More ironic and more scary, almost 1/3, 29% have less than $1,000. What do I mean by combined savings in a household? The parents and the children working in the house, ask them how much savings do you have. Almost 1 out of 3 families today only have $1,000. That means people are living paycheck to paycheck.
That's right.
If our goal is $1 billion, there's a major disconnect here.
Yep.
But according to this survey, it says it excludes the value of primary homes and defined benefit pension plans. Well, folks, why when we talk about value homes like equity, there are experts here who are real estate, like a broker here, Art, right? I mean, is the equity always there, or it goes up and down? Exactly. That's what I meant. So that could be a supplemental source of your nest egg, but it's not always something that is what we call a guarantee. And about pension, right? What about pensions today from the employer? When I talk about the word pension, and the audiences are millennials, like my son and daughters, they think I'm mad. They think I'm talking about suspension. Because a lot of companies right now are not providing pensions any longer. So what is the message? Americans today have a retirement savings crisis. That is a problem. Contribution sources have changed. I'm going to cover about the 3 legs stool. When we talk about retirement savings, there are 3 basic sources. Number 1, Social Security, the government. Number 2, pension, the employer. And number 3, personal savings, which is your 401k. Please remember this because this is going to show up in our exam today. The 3-legged stool in a retirement savings, right? Beth, did you mention we have an exam? Because you have to be a 70% passing. You have to have a 70% passing. If you pass, lunch is free. But don't worry, it's an open book. You can take notes. You can share, okay? Right. All right, so again, the 3-legged stool for retirement savings are the following. Social Security, the government, pension, the employer, and personal savings, 401k. In the good old days, for many individuals, Social Security, the government, and company-provided pension plans supplied enough income for a comfortable retirement. Remember the mindset before? People who come to this America, be loyal to your company, work there for 40 years, and you will be taken care of for life. They will give you pension for life. Right? That's all. But now, people, especially the millennials, after 2 years, switch. You know, the promotions program right now, when we used to work, when I remember when I was working as an engineer, just be loyal to your company and you will go up the ladder in the same company. But now the millennials, if they want to get promoted, after 1 year, they have a tenure. What is another company competitor across the street? Then they go like this. So they got promoted that in one company, they do it a stairway style. Go company B, company C, before you know it, just going to the top. Okay? As a consequence of that, there's also, on the other hand, the reciprocation of the employer. They don't provide pension plans or loyalty benefits any longer like before. Now, today's perception of Social Security is really social insecurity. There's a company called Allianz. Are you familiar with the company Allianz? Allianz is actually number 2 in the world. One of the biggest financial services company in the world. They're ranked number 22, Forbes Global 2000. You can Google search, in all industries. It could be banking, it could be technology, financial. They're ranked in the top 30 in the world. German-based, but strong presence in North America. In 2010, a few years ago, they conducted a survey called Reclaiming the Future. And the audience are the following: middle-class respondents who were defined as households with an annual income of $45,000 to $75,000 a year and investable assets of $50,000 to $100,000. According to their survey, more than half of middle-class consumers feel it's more likely I'll get struck by lightning than get my full due from Social Security. Especially with this young gentleman here amongst the baby boomer generation are about to retire, because of what he realized, the facts that was presented in front of him about Social Security. And today, why is this statement still applies very true today? Because this is not just a hearsay or a theoretical message. It's actually a fact of life, as shown on your front page of your Social Security statement. Now the question is this: who among here in our room already have received Social Security statement for your own personal in the past years? How many of you, when you get it, it's filed in the wrong file?
Yeah.
Right? In other words, people don't really read it, right? In fact, there was a few years ago, the government stopped providing Social Security statements. Why? The explanation is what they want to save the trees. But it's really they want to save the trees, or is it because there's something in there that probably is kind of dangerous to our psyche? Well, let's dissect this. This is a sample statement in 2009, taken directly from a 2009 Social Security statement. And what did it say in the top right hand on the front page? In 2017, a couple years ago, we will begin paying more in benefits than we collect in taxes. Without changes by 2041, the Social Security Trust Fund will be exhausted. And there will be enough money to pay only about 78 cents for each dollar of scheduled benefits. We need to resolve these issues soon to make sure Social Security continues to provide a foundation of protection for the future generations, the millennials. Are you scared so far? So folks, they say 2041 it will be exhausted and there will be only 78 cents to each dollar of scheduled benefits paid for. What does that mean? If you're receiving $1,000 today, what is ratio proportion 78% of $1,000? 780. But do not lose heart, okay? Because you know why? The government officials are doing something behind the scene, robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? Try to be, and because this is inevitable. How many of you are familiar with the ex-chairman of the Federal Reserve Board, Alan Greenspan? Very good, Jan. Jan gets an extra dessert. How about Big Ronald?
Yay! You already ate it.
Alan Greenspan testified in 1998 in front of Congress, and he made a very strong declaration at that time that the tidal wave is about to happen because of the two words,
Totoo yun.
baby boomers.
Yeah.
And I'm going to explain. Social Security is paid by whom? By employees. All right? Baby boomers are the generation born from what year? After World War II. World War II ended what year? 1945.
45?
Double dessert, another extra appetizer.
For Jan.
1945, World War II ended. So, thousands and thousands of soldiers went back home. In 1946, what happened? Honey, long time no see.
Yeah.
Babies
Every
were
baby.
born in the tune of, right, 10,000 a day. To a tune of 300,000 a month, 3 to 4 million a year. For how long?
It's a
What is the baby boom
productivity
generation period? From 1946 to 1964, 19 years of booming babies were born. 3 to 4 million a year. Now, let's relate that to what's happening in the economic climate in this country. The first year, the baby boomers turned 65. Who were born the first generation in 1946, right? When did they turn 65? Anybody needs a calculator? 1946 plus 65 is 2011. Okay? Guess what? They turned 65. They started retiring. Again, who pays Social Security? Employees. These retirees by default are no longer employees. They're no longer contributing. These are 10,000 a day who are already in the retirement mode, 3 to 4 million a year, are no longer participating in the contribution as employees towards what? Towards Social Security and Medicare. Not only that, it's a double jeopardy. Why? Not only this big amount demographics of the baby boomers are not contributing, they're also digging into the pot. So your Social Security Trust Fund, because a huge amount of population are no longer participating in the contribution of the Social Security Trust Fund, and they're also digging into the pot. And that's a way of life. Yes, Jan.
I worked for the county for 23 years. LA County employees and some of the businesses don't contribute to Social Security.
That's another.
But we have Medicare tax
Exactly. That's another dilemma.
hit.
See, some employers voluntarily decided, I don't want to participate in that anymore. We'll create our own retirement fund. So that's what is the message of Alan Greenspan. You cannot, people are retiring. And that's why Social Security is in a dilemma. This is a statement, folks, from 2009. Let's make it more updated. All right? Remember, according to the 2009 statement, the trust fund will be exhausted when? 2041. And there will be a payment of only 78 cents of each scheduled dollar benefits. Let's look at 2018, last year. 2041, in 2018 statement, is 7 years sooner. 2034. Remember, because of the baby boomers, they realized based on internal accounting of the government, it's going to be broke sooner, but don't worry, you get a pay raise. Instead of 78 cents per dollar, it's 79 cents. Over inflation. Isn't that ironic? Are you depressed so far? Remember I said, okay, relax, don't let the heartbeat be troubled. But that is Social Security, folks. Let's talk about pensions.
It's disgusting.
Employer pension plans, folks. There's a company called Pension Insurance Benefit Guarantee Corporation. Their task is to study pensions all across the nation.
Yeah, you're right.
In 2007, they said 1/3 of companies already froze or terminated their pension plans. 1/3. That is in 2007. But fast forward more recently, in 2013, they said, folks, only 14% of small business have pensions today. 86%, almost 90%, have zero plans. Now, let me explain. You might say, Gil, the company I work for has also a retirement plan. Oh, listen to the words. There's two types of retirement plan, defined benefit and defined contribution. Defined benefit is the pension given to you. If you're loyal to the company, they'll give you is all their money. You're not participating. It's called pension defined benefit plan. But when a company says, we have a plan, what is called? Defined contribution. Oh, that means you have to dig it out of your pocket. Most people today have a 401k defined contribution. You take out money out of your pocket, and hopefully the company will give you a matching contribution. You put $1, in the early days, it was like 50 cents to each dollar. And then it dropped to 25 cents to each dollar. Then it dropped to 10 cents. Some companies only give you 3 cents to $1. So that is the two-legged stool, folks. Two legs of the three-legged stool. Government pension, and also the Social Security. And employer, which is pension, and Social Security, which is the government. So what is happening now based on this message? We have to realize we have a contribution shortfall. Relying primarily on government programs, Social Security, and employer-sponsored pension plans results in one person's little or none contribution into retirement plans and could leave many short of income during retirement years. Folks, those days are gone. When we work 30, 40 years, that we know we will have a reliable source of income in terms of pension and Social Security. Because folks, we have to fast forward today. What's the reality today? So Social Security and pension should be a smaller source of the retirement fund. Personal savings should be the larger source of each retirement fund. And that's quite important that we will go covering today. There's a gentleman by the name of Ed Slott. Do you know who Ed Slott is? Ed Slott is called by Wall Street the IRA guru or expert. He has TV shows on public broadcasting system. Is that also in that article?
Yes.
Beth?
The article I shared with them this morning. Ed Slott, retirement planning.
Thank you. You already have an advanced handout. Thank you very much, Ben. How about big round of applause for Ben? Okay. The Ed Slott has a book. If you want to invest in your knowledge, invest in yourself for less than $20, you can get it on Amazon, The Retirement Savings Time Bomb. Authored by Ed Slott, E.D., last name is S-L-O-T-T-E. He has DVDs, videos, a whole library. I got his library, folks. I subscribe to that because
Retirement savings.
Time Bomb.
Time bomb.
Okay? And according to Ed Slott, he said we are in a yo-yo economy. You know what yo-yo stands for, right? You're on your own. We're no longer in a three-legged stool. It's a pogo stick. How many of you experienced that pogo stick when you were young, right? Very difficult to balance. All right? So, folks, the cost of waiting. When we talk to our people who attend our workshop, we also emphasize the cost of waiting. Because a younger generation today will say, oh, I'm not talking about retirement till about, another 20 years from now. Folks, time flies when you're having fun. How many of you feel 20 years ago you're only 20 years old? So a lot of here are in their 40s, right? Okay. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
It's a very subtle question, right? 20 years ago you were 20. But folks, right now, it's just like on the way here, my wife and I, we carpooled, and even though the carpool lane was so jammed, we listened to that music in the 70s. It just brings back fond memories. How time flies. But the thing is this, we'll show you a tale of two brothers. They're both in their 20s. Brother A and Brother B. One is a proactive saver, the other one is a procrastinator. Brother A is proactive. What he did is he decided to invest on some type of retirement plan, about $400 or $500 a month. He realized, I don't see it, it's automatic investment. And let me take care of the surplus fund, which is this, a small portion of his income, $400 a month, $500 stashed away. If he does that for 8 years, $5,500, and then for simple discussion purposes, let's say the average return is, let's say he got for 8 years, it's about 10%. At age 22, he invested $44,000 only for 8 years. Guess what? Fast forward to age 65, he has $2 million. Remember, when young millennials ask us, how much do I need? According to the financial industry, to retire comfortably, 1 million, this young lad has 2 million. But his brother procrastinated. He said, I'll do it later. He realized after 8 years, he's behind his brother. So he asked the financial advice, said, what can I do to catch up with my brother? Well, he has to start at age 29, 8 years later, and do it all the way up to age 65. Total contribution is way much more about 5 times more than his brother, 200,000, and yet he almost just caught up with his brother for 2 million. Look at the comparison. That is the cost of waiting.
Cost of waiting.
Absolutely. Right, Manny? You agree? Now, for those people who are already beyond millennial age, you ask them, oh, what kind of savings do you have for your personal account? People say, I got a 401k. How many of you know people who have a 401k? Or maybe you own a 401k. And how many of you know the 401k is like a roller coaster ride? You look at your statement up and down, right?
Yeah. You're gonna have
Yeah, 401k became a 201k. At one time, it became a 101k like the freeway. Okay? Now, some people will say, oh, I got a fully paid house.
Yeah, right.
See, a lot of people are thinking, when I retire, I want to have a 401k and then my house is paid for. Then I can retire. Well, there's such a thing as they call house rich, but cash poor.
Yep.
See, equity in a property cannot even buy groceries.
A lot of people like
Right?
that. Yeah.
See, be careful when you manage your portfolio. Because, remember, to get approved on a loan, you have to have what? The capacity to pay. The 4 C's. Cash, collateral, credit, capacity to pay. But if you are not longer working and the debt ratio, ask the experts who are here, right? Who knows how to do it, to do loans, and you need the money, how can you get it if there's no, the bank said, no, you're fully paid, but you have no capacity. If I give you another $100,000 loan on your property, do you have the capacity to pay? So you have to really think about seriously about one's needs. The only time a house should be fully paid for, according to some financial experts, if you have liquid money and also enough to sustain you for your life. Not necessarily just a fully paid house and a 401k. Are you with me so far? Okay. Now, some people put too much money in a CD, certificate of depreciation. I mean, certificate of deposit. Right? What is the interest rate on CDs nowadays? 0.765. Okay. You know the military. I spoke with a lady yesterday. She's married to a Navy man. They even give 3% nowadays, the credit union for the military. I said, great. I'm gonna cover to you. Regardless of what earnings you have in CDs, maybe 3%, it's still giving you a negative return. And I'm gonna explain why so. Some people also put a lot of money under the mattress. Okay? So, that's, some people do that and they believe in that. But now let's say you have savings for retirement. A lot of people will ask the question, as I mentioned earlier, Gil, this is my nest egg. How long will the money last? Good question. As a financial strategist amongst us, we will say, John or Mary, I don't know how long your $1 million will last. We don't know your behavior when it comes to your finances. If you're the type of person who just tour around the world once or twice a year, or maybe you spend that expensively on your needs, more so on your wants than your needs, then we have no control of that. We don't even have a crystal ball to forecast the future. But guess what? We can look at the past in the rearview mirror. See, when you look in the past, you will see factors that can deplete your retirement fund. See, my profession as an engineer, when you build a building, it should be on solid ground, not on sand. Because there are factors like wind, rain, flood, earthquake can destroy your building. You have to reinforce it in accordance to the external environmental factors that can destroy the structure and integrity of your building. Similarly, in your financial house, your building should be protected from factors, and they are the following: inflation, market laws, taxes, and healthcare costs. They call it the myth. Market, laws, MI, inflation, taxes, and healthcare costs. You with me so far?
Meat.
MITH, myth. Because these are the factors can destroy your piggy bank, your hard-earned money. By the way, those 4 factors can show up in our exam again today. So I'm giving you a heads up. Okay? Let's start with this first one factor. Savings holds bill. You put a penny in your piggy bank, a lot of pennies are leaking out at the bottom. What's that? Actually, you put $1, you check the balance, it's only a few pennies. This is what we call the silent killer, inflation. Inflation is a silent killer. It is often ignored, but seriously erodes the value of our hard-earned dollars. Inflation is to the tune of 3 to 5% yearly. What does that mean? The buying power of dollar today is worth less tomorrow, 1 year from now, like 5 cents low, because the average is about 5% inflation. So it's worth 95 cents. You notice the products and services are like 5% more expensive. You look at the milk, $3, right? A carton of milk. What is what's 5%? What 5 cents? 5% of $3, 15 cents. And then later on, 1 year later, it's $3.15. People don't notice it. It's a few, but folks, it's all across the board, right? And some people say, "Oh no, it's the same $3." Yeah, but look at the quantity; it's lighter. The psychology of marketing. See, this information, folks, is not just a guesswork. It's actually disclosed. If you put $100, it's worth $15. 100,000 is 15,000. Ratio and proportion. And how did you get that factor? There's some people will ask, Gil, how did you do that? Well, this is a study conducted, factual study by U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics about the CPI. Okay? Over the last 40 years in this country, the average inflation rate annually is about 4.7, close to 5%. So if you look at that figure, inflation about 5%, and let's say you do an example for a spread of so many years from 1967 to 2009, if you have $1, it will be only worth 15 cents because of inflation. So how do you solve this problem? You gotta have enough hedge of earnings to compete against inflation. When I was employed as an engineer, in fact, I was also at the county, public works, right? My co-engineers were celebrating, we got a pay raise, 3% or 5%.
Cola.
When we, cost of living, Scola, right? Yeah. And then after I attended workshops like this, I realized I should not jump up and down when I get a pay raise. We should kneel down and thank God. Because now you can compete with inflation. And some people will say, Gil, I don't have a pay raise, but I don't have a pay cut. I still have the same salary. No, you have a pay cut because if you don't earn 5%, then you are suffering the silent killer effect of inflation. So that's the first factor that can deplete our retirement fund, because if you have $1, ratio proportion is worth 15 cents, $100 worth $15. 100 grand for your retirement is going to be having a buying power upon retirement of only 15,000. That's inflation, folks. Now, market loss. How many of you experienced this 10 years ago? Economic downturn, 401k statement going up and down. Okay? Today, what I'm going to do is disclose to you a broader knowledge of what causes people on a market collapse of their funds. See, a lot of people say, oh, there's negative factors that can deplete our 401k. Even positive elements that equates to progress in the global economy can also cause a depreciation value of our stocks, okay, because of global competition. An example is technology and telecommunications. Do you know today, if you call the customer service of your cell phone, you will hear an international dial tone, answered by a call center in an English-speaking country like India or the beautiful islands of the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, or Mindanao. The three islands, right? It's an international dial tone. It's a call center in a third world country that speaks English. Why are jobs for customer service outsourced by companies? Because the labor cost is what? 10 cents to $1. And who monitors that? Nobody. It's a world wide web, folks. Because of technology, jobs are outsourced. What is the effect here in this country? Layoffs. When people get laid off, as a result, people cannot pay their bills, file bankruptcy, foreclosures, and nest egg reduction at an all-time high, folks. Because of this, Americans have to defer retirement at a much later age. And I talk just basically one component or reason why not only negative elements in the global economy can affect our retirement fund on our shares or stocks, even positive elements like what? Progress, technology. Are you with me so far? So the message is this: we have to protect our accounts against that negative element, which is market loss. And we'll show that to you as well. Because life events happen, folks, affecting our investments. September 10, 2001, life was good. Look at the New York skyline on a Sunday afternoon. Beautiful. You see the Twin Towers. But the day after, September 11, this is a day America and the world will never forget. I won't forget that day because my kids were still young. We were driving them to school, preparing breakfast in the morning at 6 o'clock or 6:30. I thought I was watching a Hollywood movie. When I see, oh wow, what a special effect. It's a reality, folks. See, when that happened, life changed permanently. You agree?
Yes.
Even right now, when we travel, we have free x-rays. You don't have to go to the doctor anymore. You know, you can just raise your hand and you want the side view, sir, or you want the back view, right? See, the thing is, life has changed. And then people thought, oh yeah, that was bad for the economy. Stock market crashed, or there was a big trouble. Well, folks, that was September 11, 2001. But fast forward about 7-8 years later, what happened? Post September 11, another event that provided calamity to our investments. It's called what? 2007 and 2008 crisis. What is that?
Housing crisis.
Correct. Art is the mortgage subprime market crisis. You know, remember during those days, you can get a loan with a start rate of 1%. So mortgage boom. They can say, the guideline is NINA. What's NINA? NINA, no income, no asset. You don't have to show, you call it stated income. You just state your income. There's no documentation needed. Because people are being offered a program wherein instead of renting an apartment 2 bedrooms for $1,500 a month, you can own your condo 3 bedrooms for the same payment. See, the problem, folks, that is what we call a teaser rate for about a couple years. On the 3rd year, it will recast and go to the true low rate, which is about 5%. Guess what happened? People are expecting their income will increase, or they will be able to have so much equity in their property, they refi start over. It did not happen. The $1,500 a month payment became $3,000, and what happened? The mortgage boom became a mortgage doom. People foreclosed in their properties, and there were bank runs. That's what happened in post September 11. That's 8 years after September 11. And do you know, every 8 to 10 years, something happens? What's 8 years after 2008?
2016.
Brexit.
Right. The Brexit conversation. In fact, still being talked about today.
Yeah.
This morning, I saw it on the news. What is Brexit? This is when people thought it was only a European problem. This is when United Kingdom decision to quit the European Union is costing even United States investors a pretty penny. June 24, 2016, USA Today, when Brexit was announced, the big US-based companies in the S&P 500 suffered what? A collective loss in market value in one day, 657 billion. And who are they? Microsoft, Google, and JP Morgan Chase. Furthermore, in the Dow Jones 30 stocks, 160 billion lost in one day. June 24, 2016. When we did a workshop like this a year ago, there was a lady who's retired in her early 70s, a nurse. She said, Gil, I remember that. I lost $20,000 in my 401 account in one day. And I told her, Miss Lori, don't worry. We will fix that so it will not happen again. So she engaged with us now. She can sleep at night without worry. There's a reason and technique to solve this problem. Okay? So that is just 3 years ago. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think the economy is volatile today?
Oh, yes.
It's more scary. Because it's a global marketplace. Talks between China and America, the tariff is not settled. Right? And then we have this nuclear, see, this is still a Halloween phase, right? I don't want to scare. And look at the European Union effect to us. And the North American, agreement between Canada, Mexico, and America. And also the interest rates conversation here by the feds locally. If it goes up, then there will be, right now the government delayed it because they know it's going to shake up the market. So the bottom line, folks, is we need to shield our accounts, our investments against these calamities that happens every 8 to 10 years. Now I'm going to do a quick test. The 3 R's, rate, risk, and return. Let me see. For those who are guests here today, can you see the ones who are here or who are guests today? Okay. If you answer this question, you'll get an extra lumpia. You know, the egg roll.
You get the extra lumpia. Go.
All right, let's say $100 investment. There's a 50% loss in the market. The question is, how much percent gain is needed to recover the loss? I repeat, $100, 50% loss. What do you think should be the earnings to get your money back? What is the percent? Can you give a one guess? Right? 50% loss. You want to get your money back. Okay, 100, 50, 100. How do you think most people will think psychologically the market dropped 50% and it bounced back 50% gain, you got your money back? A lot of people think that way, right? Okay, let's do the numbers, folks. 50% gain, a lot of people will say. Some people will say 70, some people will say 100. Well, let's run the numbers.
150.
You have $100, what is 50% loss?
$50.
$50. How much money you have left, Jan?
$50.
50. The market recovered. 50% gain. Of what? So how much do you earn? 50% of what? How much money you have left? 50. So what's 50 of 50? 25. So how much money you have? 7. You still have a loss. You actually need what? $50.
So who answered right?
You need $100. $100.
Who answered right?
Extra egg roll.
You need, folks, 100% gain if you lost 50%.
Correct.
Whenever I talk about this topic, I remember the doctor from India who works at the hospital where my wife works at. I ran into him and this is his testimonial. Gil, I had 2 million in my 401k. It dropped to 800,000.
Oy.
Oh yeah.
60%
that
loss.
too.
And he said, after that
Remember the
experience,
guy
I don't want to
who
talk to
told
any
himself,
financial advisor
Okay.
anymore. I said, Doc, I wish I could have met you before that happened. You could have prevented that. You know what he did? He said, from now on, I just want to put my money where it's insured by the government, FDIC. So what account is that?
A CD? Or a savings
To a
account?
tune of what? 250,000. If you put money in a CD today with a bank, they'll insure it by the government, FDIC, 250,000 per account. So you know what this doctor did? He put 200,000, 4 accounts, 800,000. He said, I don't want to talk to anyone anymore. This doctor lost more than 50%. He lost 60. But let's be conservative. Let's say he lost 50%. He needs 100% to get his money back. What is the earnings on a CD nowadays?
Point complete.
Let's say even 1%. How long will it take
to recover.
to get his money back? It will
Forever.
take a lifetime.
Impossible.
He's already in his
Forever.
retirement years, 68,
Forever.
69. The doctor is almost 70. The message, folks, is this. Protect your retirement savings from market risk and losses. If there's any program today and you have hard-earned dollars, don't let the market affect your money. You earn it, you deserve it, protect it. Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the CD. Remember I mentioned earlier? The military CD on a credit union can give even 3% today. Folks, go back in time. Do you know in 2007 they were even giving 5.35 on a CD? That is called the ING accounts or Orange accounts on TV. Remember that? But folks, it doesn't stop there. If you earn 5.35, do you know it's taxable whether you use the money or not? You'll be taxed by government because the bank will send a 1099 to IRS, you know, Uncle Sam. Any opportunity to get your money, he will tax you.
Yep.
That's the feature and benefit of a CD. You might think it's protected. No, not by taxes. So the net effective rate can be up to during that year, 2007, the top federal tax bracket is 35%. So you lose what? A percentage, so your net effective rate is only 3.48. But it doesn't stop there, folks. Because of the silent killer. What's the silent killer? Inflation during that year is -4.
Wow.
So your effective return on your CD is -1.
We have two crispy $2 bill. Everyone who wins.
Wow. That's a collector's item.
Yes, this is collectible.
For the guest?
Who won?
Collector's item.
Yeah, okay. For future questions. So, okay.
Oh, no, I have here $1.02.
Okay.
Wow, this is crispy. This
Collectors.
is
Mint
thi-
condition.
This is not only a hedge against inflation. This is a classic.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I used to do that every
See, there's a bonus today. In addition to extra egg roll, you get this. Okay, now,
I'll take all that.
well, what is the value and purpose of a CD? for liquidity, folks.
Yep.
Emergency.
Yep.
See, what is the guideline for emergency? You ask yourself this question. How much do I need for my living expenses every month? If you answer 5,000 a month, multiply that. In the old days, the financial industry would say 3 months. But now, be conservative, 6 months. 5,000 times 6 months is 30,000. Or even do it 1 year, like Art said. Okay? But people put too much money on CD, like this doctor, 800. Then it's not working for you. The technique is to be wealthy, make your money work harder for you. Are you with me so far?
See
So
ya.
the CD is just for emergency funds and liquid. Now, the next component that can affect our retirement savings is a fact that you and I, all of us in this room, do you know we're all related? We have the same uncle. Uncle Sam. Right?
Yeah.
You're taxed when you earn. Federal, state, and local tax. See, again, I mentioned earlier, I started my profession in this country when I graduated from school as an engineer. My first paycheck when I was 21 years old, I literally went to payroll department and talked to the HR manager and complained. I said, ma'am, this is my contract I'm going to make every 2 weeks. And you took almost more than 30% out of my paycheck. There must be a data entry error in your system. And he said, lad, what kind of jobs did you have before? Oh, I had odd jobs when I was in college. I was working at McDonald's. I was, in many odd jobs. Oh, this is your real full-time job? Okay, good. Okay, sit down, have a cup of coffee. Let me educate you.
Yeah.
Because once you get your check, there's taxes by your uncle, and you will be hit by federal, state, and local income tax. Almost 1/3. I said, really? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, young lad, she told me. I won't forget this. He said, there's another tax called the FICA. What's the FICA? Federal Insurance Contributions Act. What does that do? It pays for the retirees today for Social Security and Medicare. Who pays for that? You, the employees.
Yep.
You mean I pay as a working employee today for the retirees who are enjoying life for their Social Security? Remember, I mentioned earlier the dilemma of Social Security. The baby boomers retired. They no longer are employees. They don't contribute and they double dip. They now take the money. I said, oh my, I thought Uncle Sam is the one who pays for that. No, he's only a collection officer. He looks good in public. He's got a good PR person. Right? Look good and smell good. But guess what? You pay for it as an employee. I said, okay, I don't want to be an employee anymore. You want to be self-employed, lad? Or you cannot escape because you'll get hit by self-employed tax. In fact, if you're self-employed and your business prosper, there's another tax if you become a full-time, very successful business owner. I said, what's that? It's not the FICA anymore. It's the... I cannot pronounce this publicly.
Fiuta.
Hispanic and Filipinos will react when you say that word. I cannot say that. It's the Federal Unemployment Tax Act. What does that do? It's for unemployment. And who pays for that? Business owners. You go to EDD, Employment Department, you thought you were getting a goodie from Uncle Sam. No, it was a collection from business owners. So, you were charged to FICA and then the FUTA. Yeah, again, right? Now, once you get taxed, you bring home your pay. You know, people say it's net income after taxes. No. Gross income after taxes is not net income. Gross income after taxes is gross income. I hardly have any more money. Right? Now, what do you do with the money left? Oh, you either spend it or save it. Well, when you spend it, guess what? You want to buy food? Sales tax. Clothing? Sales tax. Vehicle tax. You want to drive that car on the road? Road tax. You want to keep driving? Gasoline tax. You want to go home, turn on the light, electricity, the water, and gas? Utility tax. You want to travel? Travel tax. You want to be educated? School tax. You want to have fun? Recreation tax. You want to buy properties? Real estate tax, folks. The alphabet of tax from A to Z, we cannot escape all this taxation, folks. Said, Uncle Sam, I have little left. I want to save. Oh, really? You want to save? Capital gains, interest gains, dividend gains tax.
Yeah.
Oh, really, Uncle Sam? I don't. I quit. I want to die. Oh, you want to die? Estate tax, transfer tax. There's two certainties in life, according to Benjamin Franklin.
That's right.
Cannot get away
Death
with it.
and taxes. We cannot escape. And that is the third component that can affect our retirement. That means you have to know the tax strategy, which Beth was still talking about earlier. So far, what did I say? There are 4 factors that can deplete our retirement fund fundamentally. I go over the what? Inflation, market loss, and taxes. And taxes is what? Two certainties in life. Today, you will learn about the third certainty in life when it comes to retirement. The cost of healthcare. According to the study of Fidelity Investments and Prudential, this is a third certainty in life. It is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. According to Fidelity and Prudential, a couple should save at least $250,000 for medical costs. You said, what? I have Medicare. I have health insurance for life. Oh, folks, do you know the cost-sharing provisions, prescriptions, deductibles, Medicare Part A, doctors, hospital costs, Medical Part D, and out-of-pocket costs and expenses not covered by Medicare? And the biggest amount in that component is what we call long-term care. There are 2 types of long-term care is going to show up in our exam today. Skilled care and unskilled care. A lot of people think long-term care is covered by insurance. Well, the skilled care is. What is the definition of skilled care? If you are being seen by a nurse, medical professional, to administer prescription medication monitored daily by a doctor, that's covered by health insurance, skilled care, to a certain period of time in a long-term care facility or in the privacy of your home. But majority of claims on long-term care benefits is not skilled care. It's unskilled or custodial or what they call caregiver costs. What is caregiver cost? You don't need a nurse because that is when you need help to take care of your 6 activities of a daily living. You was discussed earlier, I heard, right? There are 6 activities of daily living. My 3rd child is named Bernadette. Her nickname is Badette. When I took an exam, I know the 6 activities of living because the nickname of my daughter is Badette. What does that stand for? Bathing, B. D is dressing, eating, toiletring, transferring, incontinence. Badette. Bathing, dressing, eating, toiletring, transferring. Okay? So, when you wake up in the morning, you need someone to take care of you. To go into the shower and walk and dress or eat. You don't need a nurse, folks. You need a caregiver. But folks, that's not covered by health insurance nor Medicare. You think you have medical and Medicare? No, absolutely. I experienced it with my family. When my mom, aged 93, had a falling accident. We had to hire a caregiver despite she had Medicare and medical. That was an eye-opener. It was a reality, folks. What is the cost of caregiver nowadays?
$15 a month.
$15 an hour. Because Art has connections.
Or more.
But a regular one is $20 to $25 per hour. For 10 hours, it's $200 a day. Full day care, round the clock, is discounted to $300 a day. Let's do the numbers. $300 a day times 30 days is $9,000 a month times 12 months is $108,000. And who pays for that? Not Kaiser, not health insurance, not Medicare. So people who encounter that, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When they encounter that expense, people usually they tap the retirement fund. If you have 200,000 or 300,000 and you don't have a protection against this program and somebody else will pay for it, we have a program called OPM, Other People's Money Strategy. Let somebody else pay for it. And the worst scenario, some other people tap their what? Their equity in the property called reverse mortgage, right, Art? They call Art, say, let's do a reverse mortgage. Which some people, they don't have equity, they cannot even do that. So, this is the largest single expense in life. Are you depressed so far?
Totally.
Let's summarize the components, right? The 4 components. What are they? That can the myth that can deplete our retirement fund. Let me hear from those who are here for the first time. Just tell me, give me the acronym. What are the 4 factors that can deplete the retirement fund?
Market, myth, market, inflation, taxes, and healthcare.
There's more coming, more money coming. All right, don't worry, we have more questions, right? We have also a gentleman. What's your name, sir? James. Yeah, I saw you were about to say, but she beat you to she, okay? So, but the thing is this, folks, MITH. Now,
Big myth.
oops, what happened there?
Oops.
There we go. I'm gonna stop talking now. I'll show you a short film where the rubber meets the road and bring reality to what I talked about. in 2008, we experienced what? 2008, the subprime market crisis. Will history repeat itself? It's scary, folks.
Oh, God, I hope
But
not.
look what happened for people who went to this roller coaster ride a few short years ago, and it could happen any moment again sometime in the immediate future. But listen to this, okay? What I'm talking about, I just talked about. We'll show the short film from 60 minutes featured on TV, and it's about what happened in the market.
The effects of the current economic crisis have touched everything. Even if you still have a good job and a paid-up mortgage, chances are your monthly 401k statement will remind you that you've lost a good chunk of your savings. Trillions of dollars have evaporated from those accounts that have become the prime source of retirement funds for a majority of American workers, affecting their psyche and their future. If you're still young enough, there's time to rebuild and recover. But if you're in your 50s or 60s or beyond, the consequences can be dire. And it's drawing attention to the shortcomings of a retirement system that's jeopardized the financial security of tens of millions of people. It was a gray, chilly morning in Midtown Manhattan, and a line of unemployed, mostly white-collar workers stretched for blocks around the Radisson Hotel. More than 1,000 middle managers, stockbrokers, consultants, secretaries, and receptionists had come here hoping to find a job.
If you're just arriving, please step this way.
It was called a career fair, but there was no merriment here, only a whiff of desperation.
You have any openings in the IT?
Many of these people had been out of work for months and burned through their liquid assets, their future even bleaker than the present. Alan Weir, who turned 60 this month, showed us his latest 401k statement, which he hadn't had the courage to open up.
I'm afraid.
You're gonna open it now?
You want me to? Let's do it.
There's good reason for his trepidation. Nearly half of his life savings have vanished in a matter of months.
It went down again.
How much you down overall?
Oh, about $140,000.
Do you think you'll ever get it back?
I would probably never see it come back. I was looking to retire probably when I hit 62. I can't do it now. I'll probably be working until I'm at least 70.
I'm a Microsoft Office diva.
Until she lost her job, Kathleen Coleman had spent nearly 30 years working as an executive assistant on Wall Street. She doesn't have much to show for it.
Tell me about your 401k.
Does this answer the question?
This is what it was in 2005, 2007. You're down below 2005.
Right. Another one went down almost $40,000. One was
Nice.
88,000, and then it went down to like 50,
How old are you?
54, and I live alone. I don't have any children. I've been a career girl all my life, and it's been a great career, and I don't deserve this. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Have you had any nibbles?
All the nibbles I've had, I get beat out by top models who can type. And I have experience and dedication and loyalty, and I can make any boss shine. I can. If you're out there, I'll relocate anywhere for you.
What, psychologically, what does this piece of paper do to you?
Oh, it crushes any rest I may get when I'm 65. I'll have to work for the rest of my life.
The saddest part of this story is that it's being repeated all over the country. In eastern Pennsylvania, 59-year-old Iris Hans lost her accounting job and half of her 401k investments. She's now back in the workforce as a part-time cashier in a grocery store.
Your debit card. You have a great day.
In Dearborn, Michigan, Terry and Donna McNally are barely holding on. He lost his sales job in August. The condo they bought 15 years ago is worth less than their mortgage, and 40% of his 401k retirement savings is gone. Donna is the main provider now,
Let me hear you count to 10. Can you count to 10?
1, 2,
running a daycare center out of their home.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Are you here for John?
Terry considers himself fortunate to have found part-time work greeting the bereaved at a funeral home and making lattes at Starbucks,
There you go.
where colleagues young enough to be his grandchildren have taken him under their wing.
What's the hardest part?
I'm no longer sitting in a computer or driving in a car to a call. You know, suddenly I'm standing for 4 to 6 hours and greeting people or making drinks or trying to learn the process and the food business thing, which is very difficult.
It's tough, but I'm proud of him. At his age, to be doing what he's doing.
The 401k drop was tremendous, is tremendous at this point in time, and that's where the savings was. That's our hurt right now.
We can't live our vision of our dream of retirement. That's the worst part. Many people can't.
And what was your dream?
Our dream was to have a log cabin up north, Leland area, and just live a nice, quiet life. And we can't do that.
You think you'll ever be able to retire?
I don't
No.
see that day. Can no longer see that day.
What kind of a retirement plan allows millions of people to lose 30 to 50% of their life savings just as they near retirement? David Ray, president of the profit-sharing 401k Council of America and a lobbyist for the 401k industry, says it's one that empowers people to make their own investment decisions.
401k is the absolute best way people can save for retirement. They absolutely are the best retirement vehicle we have.
How can you say it's the best available if it has let down tens of millions of people at the time they need the money the most?
That's not a 401k problem. That is our entire investment system. This is about the markets went down for everybody. Nobody was saved in the current thunderstorm.
Ray says that many people still have more money in their 401ks than they've actually contributed. He says everyone had multiple investment options, including low-yield guaranteed returns. And he believes people who lost money have no one to blame but themselves.
In America, it's a society based on freedom and choice and personal responsibility. We need to help them understand these responsibilities and execute them to the best they can. 401k is part of that. There are no guarantees.
What about the people who are 63 or 64? A lot of those people were thinking about retiring.
Well,
and now they aren't.
Well, I mean,
a lot of them were retired and have to go back into the workforce.
Well, but that was not a 401k problem. That's an investment system problem. The markets go up and down, and if those people chose to take equity risk, there was a logical outcome.
But in fact, the 401k plans that have become the primary source of retirement income for 60 million Americans were never designed to be retirement plans in the first place. They were created in the late 1970s as a savings plan and tax shelter for ordinary Americans.
The idea was that workers would make voluntary contributions and employers would match a portion of them. The taxes would be deferred until the employee reached the age of 59 and a half. It was supposed to supplement the two traditional income streams for retirees, Social Security and pensions, one leg of a three-legged stool that would support American workers into their golden years. But it didn't turn out that way.
The three-legged stool, if you will, has gone to two legs and it's wobbly, and it's wobbling, and I'm not sure that it's going to support anything. And that's the scary part, and people are afraid.
Brooks Hamilton has helped design retirement plans for some of the country's largest corporations. He says 401ks turned out to be so much cheaper than funding pensions that many companies decided to freeze their pension plans and replace them with 401ks. The decision created millions of new employee investors for Wall Street and the financial community, and they pounced on the opportunity.
If you go back and track the mutual fund growth in assets, and you track the growth in 401k plans, it looks like a railroad track leading to the sky. They are parallel tracks.
So the big beneficiaries were the mutual funds.
That's right. That's correct.
When employers began turning 401ks into retirement plans, the financial community was not shy about promoting them as such. The prospect of trillions of dollars in the hands of unsophisticated investors opened the door for all sorts of potential abuses.
The fact is that the typical 401k investor is a financial novice. They don't know a stock from a line. And we give them a list of 20 or 30 mutual funds with really, really powerful names. You know, they sound like, gee, that's where I want to have my money.
What are generally the quality of the mutual funds and 401k plans?
Mediocre. I'm be real honest with you. With half the funds on the list, really dogs, what people would characterize as dogs, shouldn't be on the list to start with.
There clearly has been a raid on these funds by the people of Wall Street, and it's cost the savers and the future retirees a lot of money that would otherwise be in their account, independent of the financial collapse.
Representative George Miller of California is chairman of the House Committee on Education and Labor and a staunch critic of the 401k industry, especially its practice of deducting more than a dozen undisclosed fees from its clients' 401k accounts.
Now you got a bunch of economic wizards jumping in and taking money out of your retirement plan, and they don't want to tell you how much. You can't decipher it in simple English, and they're not interested in disclosing it or having any transparency about it.
And most of the people that look at their 401ks have no idea that these fees are being taken out.
No. Where would you find it? Where would you find these fees in this prospectus? You can look on any page you want, and when you're all done reading it, and you will find some of the fees and the commissions here, but you won't find them all, and I bet you won't find half of them.
There are legal fees, trustee fees, transactional fees, stewardship fees, bookkeeping fees, finder's fees, and the list goes on and on. Miller's committee has heard testimony that they can eat up half the income in some 401k plans over a 30-year span, but he has not been able to stop it.
We tried to just put in some disclosure and transparency in these fees, and we felt the full fury of that financial lobbying.
David Ray, a lobbyist for the 401k industry, says he favors disclosing the fees, but his partners in the financial industry don't.
You think most people know these fees exist?
I think they know that there are fees. They don't know exactly how large they are.
Why do you think the financial services industry is opposed to fee transparency?
I don't know that they're opposed to it. I think the issue is...
You don't think they're opposed to it?
Well, they want to keep...
You're a lobbyist in Washington, right? You know they're opposed to it. George Miller hasn't been able to get a bill to the floor.
I think they want to keep the systems as simple and not make changes. They like the way things are, and whenever you push people out of their comfort zones, you know, it's an issue.
I mean, they're comfortable with the situation because they're making a ton of money, or they have made a ton of money.
Well, and their systems are set up in certain ways. You know, this is going to be a big change.
We wanted to ask David Ray, who's been so bullish on 401k plans, one last question about what the future holds for people like Terry and Donna McNally and Kathleen Coleman, who you met at the beginning of this story.
Dedicated, loyal, I can be there, there's nothing standing in my way. Thank you. Need a babysitter?
Most of the people that we've talked to are 50 and 60 years old,
right,
and have sustained these losses, say there is no way they're ever going to make them back.
Right.
Do you agree with that?
I think we have to be truth tellers. I think that when a person has hit this point, and we've had this unfortunate situation, I don't think we can misrepresent what the possibilities are.
And the reality is that money's not coming back that they've lost.
They can't count on it. They have to, maybe they have maybe if they work 10 more years, it'll come back by the, but it's important that they not have unrealistic expectations.
Wow.
For more information on your 401k, go to 60minutes.com.
Inhale, exhale, relax, right? Isn't that quite alarming? See, when a person has a money in the market goes up and down, one will call their financial advisor. And the script is, don't worry, don't panic. It will correct itself. See, when you talk about retirement strategies, there's what we call retirement planning. Retirement planning has two phases, contribution phase and withdrawal phase. See, when you're about to be on the withdrawal phase, how can it correct itself? You're already withdrawing. So be careful on how to engage in that mindset of it's going to come back. Like this gentleman who is passionate and represents the lobbyists in Congress for 401k. He said, you got to work another 10 years. But don't lose heart, folks. I am done. I just finished with the Halloween phase of our meeting. Okay? So let me just fast forward and talk about our solution. We're here for Thanksgiving.